Hello everybody. Welcome to what I can only assume is going to end up being the end of the U saga. Last stream, or last video I should say. Keep getting stream and video mixed up. This is a video, not a stream, Simon. Last video, we ultimately got U's regret, but we had to work for it pretty hard. It was quite a bit of a tearjerker. We got to learn a lot about U. We even got to play from his perspective a bit. We got to see what Odette's plan was all about. And a few other things. It was a fairly action-packed episode. Didn't get to see a whole lot of Team 9, as I keep referring to them. Not sure what Federico, Miharu, and Scale have been up to, but I guess we'll find out because we're going right into elimination. And I think we're finally going to wrap a bow on this whole thing. We have used cards. It's time for him to go. It's time to get Naomi back. I'm not sure anything else is going to happen here. I thought maybe there'd be a bit of a surprise. Maybe Odette would vote out Federico or something, but I think we just need to focus on wrapping up this part of the plot. After that, who knows what's going to happen? I can't imagine Alan or Odette are going to sit around knowing that people are gunning for them. I think we're going to see a lot more choices come up because we're going to have half the cast eliminated now. We're getting close to the end game here. Something's got to get cranked up. I can't imagine we're going to have all this activity around you, around number 4. And then just go back to boring little vignettes. We might take a little quiet time. We're certainly going to have some time to say hi to Naomi again, and I have a feeling she's going to pop up by the end of this video. But one way or another, it's time for eliminations. It's time for you to head out. And we're going to get right into it because as we finished the last video, we were saying hello to Parca as she greeted her lovely little slaves to fate. Well, this should be an interesting final exchange, and I guess Rinka will be the one to vote 4 out. It was a little up in the air for a while there, but I have a feeling we're going to go back to a boring old got 3 and you're out after the fun elections we've had previously. The next thing I hear when I regain consciousness is that ever haughty voice. So we actually lost consciousness on the train in the fire that you set off that burned him rather nastily. We lost consciousness due to the smoke, and I guess we lost consciousness for the rest of the day because next thing we know, here we are. We haven't even had a chance to look at that regret card yet. We know we got it because our book glowed, but we just ended up straight on the clock. Goodness me, you certainly look subpar. Oh, how did we show up here today? I'm sorry we can't look all fresh as a daisy like you. I was just in the middle of a fire. I lost consciousness in the train due to the heat and smoke. The fact that I'm in the Court of Fate means that this week's election has started. I got on the train before noon, so that means I might have been out cold for 12 hours. What happened to my physical body? Is it in a hospital somewhere? Well, hopefully Alan and Odette are impressed with me. I succeeded in what I set out to accomplish. Whoa! What do I look like? Show me, show me. Alan and Odette look unfazed as always. Everything's just a trip to Odette. Yeah, Odette just has the luxury of yawning. Odd, considering you can't actually be tired in the dream world. Oh dear. What's up with you? Are you not happy? Are they just reacting to my appearance, or are they just reacting to how things went? Because Scale's team failed. I don't know what they were up to while these bombs were being set. Meanwhile, Scale lets out a dramatic sigh. I'm not really sure what he's thinking based on his ambiguous expression. Federico's not too happy either. As for Federico, he seems awfully restless. He's tapping his finger and tutting. So you guys sucked ass at getting the regret card, eh? Or maybe the bombs just went off and you know that you screwed up because you weren't on top of things like we were. I don't know how things stand between them, so all I can do is guess based on what I see. At the very least, Odette's probably still working on her own. Yeah, Miharu. She seems somewhat relieved after giving me a quick once-over. Maybe she learned that I collapsed in the train somehow. Her not saying anything probably means she's still cooperating with the others under the pretense that we're no longer friends. Again, a pretense that very few people are falling for, but whatever. So, you. No, you. Not me, you. I turn my attention to numeral 4. He looks fine. These clothes are okay. I must be okay. Come on, I look alright, right? Am I standing here in a hospital gown? Can everyone see my butt? There you stands, unscathed. Based off this and Federico's case, I have to assume that our state in the real world truly is not reflected in the dream world. No stabs for Federico, that's right. An odd sense of relief washes over me when I see him like this. I'm not sure why, considering I'm about to elect him. Yeah, I guess we look okay. We're not even wearing what we were wearing today. We're wearing our usual stuff. I open up my card book. All the cards in my possession fly out upon doing so, including the most recent one I gained. What does it say specifically? Number 4, regret. It's use regret card. Things seem to have grown a touch gloomy around here, no? I do hope there's something I can do to cheer you up. Want to hear a limerick? Oh, good. How about our lovely goddess sing us a little ditty? Yeah, Odette. Everyone digs into Parca. We're over the spectacle. Yeah, don't waste our time. Yeah, let's just get started already. Not like I'm gonna elect anyone tonight, right? Right, Federico? Ah, shut it. Same goes for you, doesn't it? Here's the falling out. Huh, I wonder. Did I speculate at the beginning? I wondered if Odette would vote out Federico today. Because, yeah, I wonder if this is the you show and nothing else. But I wouldn't put it past Odette to make a move. Because she's not just going to sit around. She's not going to sit on her hands. She knows people are gunning for her. She needs info and fast, and she's going to use it. Federico frowns in response to Odette's hearty grin. Oh, you'd have a hard time not being gloomy if you were counted among us as a participant, too. Can't deny that I'd like to hear our little goddess sing for us, though. Just get started already. Alan directs his comments to Parca, making his discontent obvious. Nobody here is impressed anymore. It's like, yeah, we're... Magic clock, sure, whatever. There's an oddly functional flow to our conversations, now that most of us know each other. It's different from when divine selection first began. That fact scares me. Oh, what a shame. My efforts to learn the songs you people know, all for naught. Was she going to sing us a ditty? How did you go about learning them? I have YouTube. Are you so curious? Yeah, hell, I most certainly... Yeah, Odette's just like, whatever. Odette isn't joking. I can tell she's serious based on the tone of her voice. I've spoken to her in person, so I know. It may have sounded inconsequential, but she is looking to get something out of Parca. Again, when are we going to turn all of our attention to her? Ha ha ha. I'm afraid I'll have to keep you in the dark. Maybe that's the revelation that's going to kick things into the next segment here after we deal with 4. A lady is only as charming as the number of secrets she holds, no? Her choice of words makes her sound mischievous. Almost like a regular child, even. Can we get on with this? Yu's tone is as sharp as it is cold. It's obvious how little he cares for Parca. I was a little bit... Speaking of regrets, one of my little regrets from the last video was I was kind of firing through the dialogue, and it's a bit of a shame considering Yu's voice and Rinka's voice are almost identical. I wasn't really taking the care for Yu's voice that I really could have, but I was kind of into it. I was into the story, so hopefully that was okay with everybody. Now, no need to be so hasty, though I must admit, perhaps I spoke a bit too much tonight. Allow me to begin tonight's election. Revolve, O clock of fate. Her stock phrase signals the beginning of tonight's election, as does the stock CG. The clock hand at the center of the court of fate begins to revolve. Nothing she does is any different from normal, but tonight sounds completely different to me. Yeah, it's our turn. The reason why is simple. Tonight will be the first night I elect someone. Here it comes, but I'm conflicted over what to do even now. Electing someone is the same as stripping away their right to live. Yeah, but by not electing them, you strip away Naomi's right to live. It's no different from killing them. Yu's pained voice comes to mind, his heartfelt cry to the world. His battle with the contradiction born within him. Are we not going to elect him? That would be a pretty wild week. Yu was like, how many people do I have to blow up for you to take this seriously? I cast a glance over to him once again. He just looks like an average boy right now. Hardly someone capable of terrorism. The wild look he showed before is gone now. In fact, he seems to be at peace. Is he ready to be elected? Does he really feel relieved that he'll finally be free from his suffering? He said so 2 weeks ago, Rinka. Get your act together. I can't tell from where I stand. He doesn't bother to say anything to me. Well, numero 1? Do or die time. She inquires as if she knows exactly what is going through my mind. As if she knows I'm about to elect you. It makes sense if she's observing the events that happen in the real world. How she does that, I'm not sure. Not that it matters right now. I can't finish my sentence. I thought I was ready to accept the responsibility of throwing another person's life away for my own. I just can't say it. Are you really... Yeah, Miharu knows. It's like, Rinka, girl, I will punch you. It's a simple question, my dear. Will you elect someone or not? Why did I go through everything to obtain Yu's regret card? I feel like I'll forget at this rate. Hey, Alan and Odette trusted us too. They looked at us and knew we were full of resolve. Don't let it falter now. But even so, shall I presume that your answer is a no? Wait. Naomi's face comes to mind. Yu's actions will be undone with his elimination. That means what happened in Amika will also be undone. If that can happen, then Naomi will... Pull yourself together, Rinka. I mutter my own name under my breath. Everyone knows what my name is already. That's not a good reason. We can't shoulder anything together if I let such thoughts spur my actions. I'd just be using her as an excuse for my own weakness. No, this is a valid reason. I remind myself to make my decision based solely on my own judgment. If I'm going to eliminate him, it's because I choose to. My own regret comes to mind. I swore that I would live my life out. I'm going to elect someone. Huh! Well then! Took you 10 minutes. I straighten my back to regain my posture. My eyes fall directly on you following that. He still has the same gentle expression from before. Look at this motherfucker, just grinning like an asshole. It's the same expression when he first ate the dinner I made for him. Look at him, he's just like, yep. Look at him, he's so happy. Even so, I elect numeral 4. I have to utter those words, no matter what. Very well. Parca proceeds to question the other participants. Alright, you got it out, Rinka. You did good. I almost break out in a sweat when Odette's turn comes and goes without incident. That would have been the moment I got elected, if I had given in to her demands on Friday. In the end, the clock doesn't stop at anyone else. Okay, so we are just wrapping this up. It's the 4 show. Until we say hi to Naomi again. Let's finish this act out. I'm the only one electing someone tonight. Funnily enough, only one person is elected more than one person. We're going to elect someone. Miharu elected someone. Odette, for all her bluster, has only elected one person. Alan's elected 3. So, damn. With that decided, numeral 1 and numeral 4, allow me to begin the election procedure. My platform begins to move in tandem with her statement. What happens if you start having second thoughts here? Like, oh, I can't find my cards. Whoops. Use platform does the same. Change my mind. What if I just don't want to read the cards? Both of us ascend to the upper stratum of the Court of Fate. You better not change your mind. If 2 people come back down, that's going to be a trip. It's an odd sensation, to say the least. The way my platform ascends almost feels like I'm on an elevator. There aren't any walls around to support it, but it somehow feels like I can't actually fall off it. Are we you or are we Rinka? That's how smooth and steady the ascent feels. I'm surrounded by unfamiliar scenery once the platform stops. It looks exactly the same. Almost like I'm perched high above the clouds. There's nothing but darkness below. I can't see Miharu or any other participants from here. Okay, so we're probably Rinka. You, on the other hand, stands directly across from me. You finally decided to kill me. Yeah. You're finally going to set me free from my pain. Like, he wants this, Rinka. It's okay. It's okay. Not quite. Only you can save yourself. Apologies for the wait. Let us commence the election process, shall we? Wait a minute. What's that supposed to mean, Rinka? I thought you were going to kill me to help me. Parca urges us on, so I open my card book. I thought we were going to have a conversation. Just tell Parca to go pound sand. I mean, we're already in the habit of disrespecting her. Why not, right? All my cards fly out the moment I do. It seems I need to pick the relevant ones in order. Oh, here's her pick. Your name is Yu, a name given to you by Shigetsugu, so I'm aware of how important it is to you. It's a lovely name. Fire was the cause of your death, a cause oddly intertwined with my own. If I'm being honest, I hated you for it before, but now I just feel sad about it. I pick his name and cause of death in succession. How about you forgive yourself already? Huh? Are we not going to see the fourth card until he forgives himself? Everyone downstairs is going to be wondering what's taking so long. I can't forgive you after you took Naomi's life. That being said, neither will anyone else if you keep denying yourself. You're no puppet, much less a hero. What you are is as human as they come. That's the best I can do for him. When it all began, the words I left him with before dying stuck with him this whole time. As such, he had no choice but to deny both himself and his past. Oh, I see. So the idea is those final words we gave him in his death, we're sort of taking them back, I guess. I lost my parents not long after I was born, so one could argue that I should have tried harder to understand you and your position. True, true. But the lives we led were far too different. I grew up providing for those around me, whereas you grew up taking from those around you. And after all that, you met Shigetsugu. You learned the joy of providing for another and the possibilities it could open up for you. The possibility of leading a normal life, not by your standards, but by those of people like Shigetsugu and myself. And that's what became your regret. I take all three of his cards in hand. That's why it was so hard for you, wasn't it? You were simply handed that new life, so you never knew how hard it was to attain it on your own. That led to you denying the very concept of it. I won't forget you. I won't forget you. Still a comical name, considering how many contexts it... And never mind. I finally understand why we'll never understand one another. It's because we both started out the same. It's almost too cruel how things turned out. I'll be able to die a human at least. That's normal, isn't it? Yeah. Here we go. You get to watch yourself kill yourself. All three of my cards begin to move on their own. We'll be over soon, and then what's going to happen? We're going to see Naomi again. Once they reach the middle of the Court of Fate, they come together and form a triangle shape. What follows is a sudden burst of light that swallows my surroundings. I'm glad I settled on you as the person to kill me. Oddly enough, our regrets are the same to an extent. That's what I commented on. That's what Psy'Min says. Both involve the concept of living regular lives. The values we held surrounding them are completely different, though. For me, it's all about what I already knew. For him, it was what he had come to know. I can resent you all I want in death. You and me both. Interesting final words. Oh, by the way, Rinka, did anyone tell you get to relive this? The light from my cards envelops us both. Do I get to stare at a ceiling again? It's bright enough that I involuntarily squeeze my eyes shut, only to notice my consciousness leaving my body. Wanna die? I hear a voice during this. Oh! Don't tell me Yu's card his regret card is gonna change again and then he's gonna be different. Is he gonna survive this? I guess he's gonna die in regret. Who was the last person to do that? Ro had a hard time accepting his death. You don't want to die? Well, sorry, Yu. You could have lived a normal life, but I don't want to die. No, please, no. Rinka, Shigetsugu, Mama. I don't want to die. I still had so much of my life left. Yeah, well. So did our girl Naomi. It had to be done. His voice becomes more and more distant. All I can do is listen. I listen to him reveal his true feelings then and there during his final moments. I mean, someone's got to bear witness, right? And then we're back here. Flames envelop me. This is a sight I recognize. It's almost the exact same scenery I witnessed when I died, after all. It's the exact same scenery, it's just from the other direction. My line of sight is much lower than usual, though. That's when I realized it. This was from Yu's perspective. Yeah, no one told you this was going to happen, did they? He was sitting down after having crushed my throat. I'm human. His lungs had lost their function. His skin was charred. His very cells had been obliterated. I don't think he'd be talking if his cells were obliterated. Let's not go too far here. His words fell on deaf ears. This is how it should be. Are we going to check the news and find out there was a train wreck and we just weren't in it now? As much as he tried to breathe, his blood refused to carry the oxygen. Not like the air could even reach his lungs at this point. Right, Mama? It was doubtful that he could even speak properly at this point. That wasn't a concern of his, though. He just did everything he could to speak his last words. He did it to convince himself. To reassert himself. It's not... But that effect didn't last for long. I don't want to die. His lungs were shot. He couldn't speak anymore. I don't want to die. Help! Help! That's why those end up being his last words. He unleashed one final scream, marred with regret and repentance. His vision was dyed red following that. The flames burned away the contradiction and sins he bore. Those were Yu's final moments, weren't they? Yu had already disappeared by this point. His final words to me were full of resentment. That's fine by me, though. I had everything he lacked, everything he ever wanted. And yet I still find myself clenching my fists. If an afterlife really does exist, then at the very least, I can pray that it's a place where our growths during divine selection aren't forgotten. That might be even more painful for him. Knowing what we consider to be a regular life might cause him to panic and question himself. So long as he has the freedom to figure things out, he should be fine. Funny that I think of such things when I don't believe in God or heaven. Oh, how impressive for you to say that in the presence of a goddess. Again, I wonder about that. I speculated before about the beliefs of different people and how this factors into, you know, again, Rinka isn't a religious person. She's not a Shinto or a Buddhist, or she's ever... I mean, she goes to an all-Christian school, technically. Not that I think those actually exist in Japan. I'm pretty sure that's a translation thing. Her little Christian girls' school. But, yeah. I'm an atheist. Just in the presence of a goddess here. Shut up. Oh my, how scary. Allow me to show you the cards in numeral 4's possession. Please consider which you'd like to obtain as you descend. This may contain some revelations. What was number 4 sitting on? My platform begins to move, not even giving me enough time to get sentimental over Yu's elimination. Do that on your own time. I can bring Naomi back now. Not even that thought prevents me from feeling miserable. I have all these already. Figures. Parca told me to choose whichever card I wanted, but Yu doesn't have any I can take. Just those I already have, or ones that belong to those who have already been eliminated. The ones I already have are numeral 2 and numeral 9's names. Miharu and Scale Johnson's. Scale Johnson's? I thought it was Scale Jones. Scale John? Who the hell is Scale Johnson? Scale Johnson, Steel Jones? Either this guy can't make up his mind or the translators can't. Man, a Scale Johnson would hurt. That makes it obvious how little interest you had in divine selection. Thus, my very first election comes to an end. It doesn't feel very special. If anything, it only served to put a greater burden on my shoulders. Well, we're going to have a tearful reunion, aren't we? Mao's not going to notice, but me and Miharu are. Tonight's session resulted in one elimination. I bid you all farewell for now. I'll look over to the empty platform on which you once stood. I don't look at just his platform, though. Numeral 5, Shigetsugu's platform. Numeral 8, Kieiko's platform. Numeral 10, Sonia's platform. Even the platforms for number 6 and 7, who belong to people I never got to know. I find myself brooding over each and every one of them. 7th week, achievement unlocked. We be done, sons. The fog in my consciousness gradually begins to dissipate. And since all of this got undone, we're just back in our room. No hospital stay, no exploded schools. Time to catch up on the world, because a lot has probably happened. The fog in my consciousness gradually begins to dissipate. I sense someone nearby. Interesting. Well, I mean, this is who we're going to care about the most, right? It's not going to change who's there. Like I was saying, choices are going to start coming up. Choices are going to start happening. This seems relatively inconsequential, but let's ask the obvious one, because we want to see our girl again. We sense someone nearby. I'm guessing it might be Miharu. It's probably not Mao. But, come on. Naomi? Naomi? Oh, okay, well, my gut was right instead. Hoping to see Naomi, were you? Well, I'm not quite sure if that's only because it's this specific morning. Oh, hell yes, that's because it is. What the hell? I mean, surely Miharu remembers things. Wait a minute, why do you look a little different? Good morning, Rinka. Are you tending to us for some reason? Were we in bed together? What's happening? Are you... Miharu's going to be just as surprised as us, but she's like, I'm okay with this. This is where I'm waking up? Alright. Not questioning it. Why are you here? The first thing I see upon waking up is Miharu. She's in her school uniform all ready to go. Is she? She looks a little different. That's a simple question. I'm the one who carried you back from the train. Yeah, but that didn't happen. The press would have swarmed you if I took you to the hospital, especially once they figured out that you're a student at Amica. I couldn't let you go through that. How did you know we were on the train? You weren't around. I want to know what changed. What's going on? I figured the world would do its thing after days passed, so it wasn't all that bad. Oh, so things haven't reverted yet, maybe. How did you know I was on the Yamanote line? That's my question. My little alliance with Scale and them proved to be useful. I'm still not sure if they're trustworthy or not, but Scale's intel has been spot on at least. She slips into an extra comment about how she should have made her way over quicker. Did you spend all night by my side? Aw, blushing. I did have to go home and fetch my things, but yes, I couldn't leave you alone in your state. That's a relief to hear. Thanks. That's my line, you know. While I got to see you were okay in the Court of Fate, part of me was still worried you wouldn't wake up again. I'm not sure what went on while I was unconscious, but it looks like she did what she could to keep me out of trouble. I like the idea that the changes aren't immediate and things are going to happen overnight. I just imagine Parca just going over her to-do list of all the nonsense that needs to get undone over the last month, and she's like, oh, damn, I'm going to be busy. All-nighter for the goddess. And here I was worrying about the possibility of my real body being taken to a hospital. Miharu's gotcha. Waking up in my own room helps me to settle down a bit. I'm a bit sore all around, but other than that I seem to be fine. Thus, there's only one thing left for me to worry about. You must be wondering how things have changed. Yu's actions had a big influence on the world at large, but things right now are different from what took place. I haven't had the time to figure it all out, but I can tell you what I know so far. Okay, so maybe Parca just didn't change this part so that you and Rinka could just be here and chat. They remember going from the train to here, even though nothing on the train actually happened, but alright, let's see what happened. You should get ready for school first. We've still got plenty of time, but the explanation will take a while. Is it Monday morning? Following her advice, I get ready and make my way downstairs. It should be easier to talk things out down here. Is it Monday morning? I was getting the impression it was still Sunday night. I guess it's Monday morning. Somewhere out there, Naomi is fine. We're going to see her soon. As always, I make some coffee for the both of us. There's still an hour left before we have to leave. Guess I woke up early thanks to all the rest I got. As always, I make coffee for us. When was the last time Miharu slept over? It would have been Sonia. Exactly, it's been a while since we last got together like this. Your outfit definitely looks a little bit different. I'm going to have to go back and compare, but school uniform? It's changed a little bit. I can't imagine that's as a result of things getting undone. It's only been a month and a half, but you look a little different, a little, I don't know, a little more formal for some reason. Ever since I lost the will to go on, and it was thanks to Mao coming over and the idea of you doing all you could that got me back on track. That's an interesting outfit. I don't think we've ever seen her with her stuff actually up to her shoulders and half zipped up like that. She likes her reds. I can hardly blame you. Besides, I may have done all I could, but you were the one who accomplished what you set out to in the end. Maybe that's why Scale looked upset, all their work that they did, and it was just a waste. They should have been focusing on Alan the whole time. Naomi's death. That's got to be what she's about to talk about. Maharu takes a deep breath before she starts. First and foremost... Oh, that still happened? I thought things got undone. Naomi better be alive again. There shouldn't have been a yesterday's incident. You should have died. Oh, I see. It's some sort of... So it's sort of maintaining certain events. But then the events aren't really getting undone, are they? I don't know. Parca's playing kind of fast and loose with her interpretation of the rules here. Naomi better be alive again. You better not be saying, oh yeah, Naomi wandered up to that one classroom and there was a gas leak and boom and, well, sorry. First and foremost, yesterday's incident. It's become a case of sudden combustion due to unknown circumstances. A lack of proper maintenance on the rail lines and their deterioration over time, I guess. The case at Tokyo Tower has been completely undone, it seems. Ah, okay, there we go. Who knows what happened to the memories of all those who watched Yu's stream, so no more stream. Alright, that got undone. It's entirely possible that there will be cases like Naomi, who still dream about the events that were undone. We're best off asking Mao. She's more likely to have watched the stream than not. Based on all that, we can surmise that while Yu's actions themselves disappeared, the physical changes caused by them remain. Again, that's bad news. Where's Naomi? Just like with Keiko. The letter she gave me is a prime example of that. Yeah, I get that. I get minor stuff. What she had written disappeared after her elimination. The action of her writing a letter had been undone. I have a bad feeling about this. Yeah, I have a bad feeling about this too. If the changes to Naomi's body are classified as a physical change, then Parca is full of shit. Don't tell me, calm down, let me explain things in order. Just say Naomi is fine. The longer you go without saying it, the more I worry. Going back a bit further, it turns out the major players in Null's Japan branch were all arrested after reports of suspicious objects being found in Shibuya. That occurred after Yu's initial attack on the Yamanote line had been undone by divine selection. The organization itself was already reaching a breaking point, and then one of their operations failed and resulted in the disappearance of the perpetrator. That led to an insider leaking information and causing them all to get arrested. That's been undone too. Rather, the timing itself has changed. They were arrested right after Golden Week, which just so happens to coincide with the causality juncture. All of this due to an insider leaking information out of fear of what a young member of theirs had done. So the attack itself actually happened. Yu's cause of death has become reality once more. That means he's already dead at this current point in time. His attack only resulted in a few injuries, though. The only one to die during it was the boy himself, who I refer to as such because he hadn't been given the name of Yu at that point. Makes sense, considering I'm alive. If my memory of the incident is right, though, other people died along with me, so something doesn't add up. That's a curious point. If we're going around undoing other people's lives... Are they going into divine selection games? I don't know. The explosion took place in the middle of a packed train. The only way no casualties would emerge from that is through a miracle. I mean, if that were to happen, that would still be good news, because it would mean that Naomi would be in the same boat. In fact, Naomi was on the same train. Granted, you could probably call divine selection and its alterations to fate a type of miracle in and of itself. That's likely due to you. Fate had to force its hand to keep you alive, I'd assume. So if I die, then... Oh, the Sea of Flames pops into my mind once more. So if Rinka dies, if Rinka gets elected, everyone else on that train dies too. I think that's the implication. Her theory makes sense. All the same, that's not what I'm interested in right now. That kind of goes back to something I was talking about a while ago. If we're undoing Rinka's death, but not Yu's, that one sticks, then how does that play out on the train? And the way it plays out is the bomb just takes out Yu, and the explosion is contained enough that it doesn't affect Rinka or anybody else. But if it does end up affecting Rinka, if she does get voted out, then it affects everyone else too. So a lot would have changed as a result of this. I'd made it a point to settle things with fate. I want to know the results. Yeah, get to the main point. What happened to the attack on Amica? I hear myself gulp in anticipation. I have a bad feeling about this, but I also don't doubt myself. If I do, then... The attack on Amica on the day of the Culture Festival has been undone. Completely? Utterly? No gas leak? No explosion? However, the classroom being used as storage for the festival burst out in flames in exchange. What happened to this stuff being undone? Parca, you lying sack of crap. Rinka is going to chew Parca the hell out whether Naomi lives or dies after this. I mean, this is some BS. Wait a minute. If something still happened, then... My breathing goes ragged all of a sudden. It almost feels like my heart is completely stopped. Even though that happened, there were no casualties. Huh? Then... Did Naomi get hurt? My pulse returns to normal when I hear that. The sudden fluctuation leaves me a bit lightheaded. Hey, if those people on the train can survive, then Naomi damn well better survive. If there were no casualties, then Naomi didn't lose her life. Which means she's alive. Naomi's alive. And the music kicks in. Miharu seems less than enthused, though. Yeah, what's the rest of the story here? It doesn't take long to figure out why. The fire itself still happened, so it's entirely possible that she's been left badly burned or suffering from other complications. The news didn't go into detail. And, well, it's a bit pathetic of me, but I'm a touch scared to learn the truth. I didn't have it in me to call either Mao or Naomi, just in case something had happened. So we don't know. Well, I mean, I don't necessarily blame you for being a little bit worried. Also, your arm looks really weird there. I feel like it should be a little bit longer. Yeah, there we go. That looks human again. I wasn't even sure how to ask them because I still don't know the results of your efforts. Oh, is that it? You don't need to worry about that. So long as she's alive, I'll make sure she's happy. Heh, you really are strong-willed, aren't you? Not at all. I never would have been able to do any of this without the help of others. I won't challenge that line of thinking, even if you've helped to confirm the fact that you're the one who deserves to live through all this. That's not quite the right way to put it. Miharu reacts by giving me a puzzled look. I decide to explain myself. It's not about who deserves to live. It's also about who has the will to do so. So, I take it you're determined to live through this now? Yep. I have no issue embracing that desire now. There's one more thing I've decided on besides that, though. It's the possibility that Sonia told us about. The one I'd forgotten about thanks to everything that happened with Naomi. The possibility of more than one person living? Let me say this loud and clear, Miharu. Both of us are going to... Leth! Quit it! True mastermind keeps interfering. Oh, come on! Read the atmosphere! Just as I'm about to give Miharu a big determined speech, a listless voice interrupts. It's none other than Leth, of course. Watch this be Parca. Next time I see Parca, I'm going to see if she's wearing a pendant like that. Pretty unusual to see it walking around in the morning. Or maybe the effeminate dude. If we see the effeminate dude again, we'll check for this pendant. It makes its way over to the table we're sitting at before planting once more. Why, hello. I believe this is our first meeting. You haven't seen Leth yet? Huh? Is it really? I've heard you talk about your cat plenty, so it doesn't feel like this is the first time. There goes all my energy. That's enough for now. You should take this chance to settle down after all that you've gone through. But I must say... Something up with Leth? Oh, the cat's name is Leth, right. It sounds awfully familiar for some reason. What's up with this cat? It keeps poking its head in. Perhaps I'm just taken by how unusual a name that is. You mind if I pet it? Huh? I thought you were good with animals. Well, I just don't like them. Even so, this cat's probably been supporting you along the way. In that case, it only makes sense that I show it some gratitude. Maharu extends her hand toward Leth, nice and slow. You can tell she's not used to dealing with them. Come on, no need to worry. Never mind, she bit you. It's not often that you get to hear Maharu shout in surprise. It has me grinning at first, but I come to regret that pretty quickly. What's up? She falls off her chair before she can pet Leth and crashes onto the floor. What? This isn't going to be an allergy thing, I can't imagine. Did something happen to Maharu as a result of things with you getting undone? Or is this something completely unrelated? Are you okay? Sorry, I shouldn't have egged you on. Oh no, she's okay, she's okay, she's okay. It's not your fault. I got dizzy when I reached down and I ended up falling on my face. Why is she dizzy? I help her back up to her chair. Something's up with Leth. Again, I don't trust like that. Things get introduced. Leth keeps coming up. I'm going to watch for that pendant. I want to see if someone else is wearing it. Effeminate dude or Parca. Her body's far more slender than I'd imagined, but it's also so soft. What in the world happened? Maybe your body's just instinctively trying to avoid animals. Come here, Leth. Let me get you some food and water. Meow. The smell of the food seems to do the trick as Leth meanders off to the backyard. We have a backyard? Sorry about that. I'm fine. No, you're not. What's the story? Getting back on topic, the gist of things is that we won't know how Naomi is until we see her. Right. You got up way earlier than me to check all that out, huh? I'm grateful. I'll be satisfied just knowing she's alive. Yeah. Seeing you smile like that satisfies me too. We should probably head to school soon, though. We both make our way to school once I wash up the mugs we used. Alright. Let's have it. Oh yeah, what happened with school anyway? Hopefully fate didn't make it so that we skipped a whole week. Yeah, that's the other thing I was curious about. I mentioned that too. What's going to happen? We're just going to have a lack of memories of going to school for a week and everyone else is going to remember us being there, or what's going to happen. So I guess this is Parca's way of just trying to fix things. You can imagine her just up in this other dimension doing the equivalent of slapping duct tape on everything. Trying to make it all fit and work and stick together. Oh, I forgot to mention that. It closed for a week after the fire incident, so not much different from the events we went through. Good to hear. Let's get going then. We take in the clear blue sky while we walk toward Amaka. Where's Naomi? Phew! Ain't nothing more tiring than being back at school after a week off. I must have spent half the time sleeping. So you just did the same thing you always do. Gotta admit, I think they went a bit overboard closing it for a whole week. I'm starting to get bored out of my skull. You two were toiling away when I wanted to do stuff too. Where are we toiling at? Seems like the world has changed things up after all. The pivotal moment I shared with Mao has been undone. That was the first time I'd ever seen her cry. But now, I'm the only one who knows just how strong and compassionate she can be. I'm pretty sure Lighthouse was closed all week, so I can only assume I lied to her about working. Oh, that's what she meant by working. And Miharu was working at her job, she assumes. Guess I should check last week's bills and stuff when I get back. Oh, crap. I need to get in touch with Gran as well. Chances are I haven't done so in a while. I can't help but smirk as I remember all this. Well, I guess Naoran's had it the roughest. Uh-oh. Why? Oh. I make sure to give a vague reaction. Mao follows up. She wasn't hurt or anything, but the press was all over her because she saw the whole thing happen firsthand. And there we go. Naomi's fine. We know. She's okay. The school took initiative to keep them away from her, but that didn't stop them from trying to track her down every now and then. She wasn't hurt. A shame the festival ended after just one day, after she worked so hard for it. Can't fault their decision, but they could have postponed instead of outright canceling it. Oh, maybe you could hire an Aaron to work at Lionhouse. Holy crap, I might be a genius. Mao's words are going in one ear and out the other at this point. As they probably should most of the time. Mao isn't part of Divine Selection, so hearing her say Naomi's fine has me over the moon. Rinny? Oh, sorry. I kind of spaced out. We're going to cry when we see her, aren't we? Whatever. Good to see I ain't the only one still in holiday mode. We should probably grab food soon. Senpai! Rinka! A voice rings out just as Mao urges me toward the cafeteria. A voice that hits me like a ton of bricks. Here we go. Start the waterworks. Yep. It almost feels like I've lost all the strength in my body. Now it's time for us to collapse. It doesn't last long, however, as I find myself sprinting toward the source of the voice immediately. Yep, there we go. There we go. Big hugs. Big hugs. Yee! What's wrong, Rika? Boy, it's been a while. It's probably been more of a while for you guys, considering the spacing I'm putting between these episodes. It's less time for me. When did I record this episode where she died? Probably only a few days ago. But, yeah. Sup, Naomi? Everyone's staring, but I don't care. I hug her with everything I have. Oh, look at those tears flying. Ow, I bit my lip again. Why am I so good at that? Fortunately, my face is buried in her clothes, so nobody can see the tears welling up in my eyes. I was usually jealous about what her squeeze Rinka is doing, but she's just like, I'll allow it. I'll let this one go. No way. Maharu's not foaming at the mouth? Mao's in shock. What's wrong? Did something happen? Nope. Turns out nothing happened. Sorry, just let me stay like this for a while longer. Yo, is this a confession? Don't be ridiculous. Oh well, it can't hurt to leave them be for now. Yeah. Maharu's like, I'll give you 5 minutes. I'm starting the clock. Now. I spend the next 5 minutes hugging her tight. I can't believe that. Well, yeah, she heard me. I spend the next 5 minutes hugging her tight, then I feel someone grab the back of my jacket and say, okay, that's enough. Most of that time is spent waiting for my tears to recede. Those who don't understand the situation, Mao included, probably assume I've gone off the deep end. Rumors are gonna spread fast. Hey, none of this in this good, wholesome Christian academy here, but I don't care. Thank you for being alive, thank you. Saying that is just going to confuse her more, considering she doesn't remember what happened. Even so, I have to say it. Getting back to comments earlier, is there going to be some stuff coming up in dreams? Is Naomi going to have some comments? Of course, we invite her on over. Has she changed? It's been a while. That's the school uniform. Is that the uniform she usually wears? I know she put her hair up in her little ponytail and she broke her glasses. I can't remember for her uniform. I feel like her uniform has changed, just like I feel Maharu's uniform has changed. I wonder what's up with that. Hello? Sorry for the wait. I happened to bump into Naomi outside. Maharu and Naomi come to Lion House after school. Rinka is probably so happy. I mean, all that angsting and worry and justifying things and trying so hard to eliminate you, but come on, you gotta be enjoying this. You deserve it. After I looked into it, turns out I'd closed the store for the week due to my being ill. I made sure to tell my gran, and that it'd be open as usual starting tomorrow. Maharu and Naomi saunter over to our usual table. Once there, I sit down next to Maharu. The reason for them both being here is obvious. We're gonna fill Naomi in on everything. Yeah, I guess that's fair. Naomi knew enough about divine selection that she doesn't necessarily need an explanation, but it would probably be prudent considering our reaction and what she already knows. I wasn't sure how much I should tell her at first, but I think it's best if we reveal everything. And now we get to do it with Maharu here, which is a little bit different. It's entirely possible that things could repeat themselves if I keep certain things from her. That's also fair and true. This is about divine selection, isn't it? Yep, this is also what you're... Okay, Naomi, you got murdered 4 times. Seriously. Psy'Min kept count. We haven't seen her from this view before, where we see both of her little pigtails on either side of her head. It's cute. We get to see Maharu and Rinka side by side, too. There's no way I can keep this from her. Naomi seems to understand, too. Aw, look at these two. Yeah, how much do you remember? Well... I remember that we spent some time alone talking in the park the day before the culture festival. Just the two of you, huh? Maharu jealousy intensifies once again. She's just grinning, but behind her, just behind that grin, she's like, I will cut you. Naomi gives Maharu a panicked look of apology before turning attention back to me. Again, stay in your lane, bitch. After that, I remember getting caught up in an explosion after I followed you to an empty classroom. Oh! Okay, I wondered what she would remember. I remember getting caught up in an explosion. And she knows who you is. I don't remember anything between that and waking up in the hospital, though. I was told that I collapsed from some sort of heat stroke, but that's about it. I figured I'd miraculously made it out alive, but something didn't add up. I felt like I spent my time reading books and such during the school's closure, and yet for some reason, I can't remember doing so. I even wrote down the book titles I read in my notebook, but I can't recall what they were about. Well, this is weird. Most telling, however, is that I started to have nightmares in which you killed me. They were as realistic as the ones I had about you dying, Rinka. Did you keep count? There was 4. I'm not too sure if those were actual dreams I had or ones I just felt I had. Okay, well, this explanation will go quick then. You should be aware of the meaning behind that now. Yeah, I died, didn't I? You must have killed me on that day. His actions taken during divine selection were undone after his elimination, which includes when he killed me. I see. This is just a theory, but Naomi's memories seem to have been affected more than anyone else's. You've ended up with memories of what happened both before and after the world's events changed. Again, Parca, you got some explaining to do. I feel like maybe we need to talk to your supervisor. It might be time to get someone else to fill the position here, because you don't seem very good at this. There's not much left for us to say based on your understanding of the situation. Yeah, again, this will be quick. The last thing we want is for you to remember something as painful as that. Thank you. I appreciate your concern, although, I hate to ask this, but it was you who eliminated you, wasn't it? Did you eliminate you? No, I eliminated you. He didn't eliminate himself. I can't believe you did so much for me. Don't bring that up. It's okay. I assured Maharu before I continue. Maharu's right. You don't need to apologize for any of it. I made the decision to elect him myself. It wasn't easy, though. First, I had to cooperate with other participants, and then they had me use a gun. Naomi's like, the hell? How did things escalate to that point? I had to catch a bomb while it was falling, and then there was a gunfight. And it's pretty badass, actually. Naomi stares in awe as I explain the sequence of events. How I worked together with Odette and Alan to prevent the attack on Tokyo Tower. How I witnessed yet another explosion on a train. She'll know who Alan is, too. We cooperated with the baby murderer. Yeah, how about that? I go on talking for a while. Long enough that we have to take a break in the middle of my story. Okay, maybe this won't be short. Maharu probably knows the gist of the situation, but this is the first time I've talked to her about it properly. Okay, so this is just as much for Maharu as it is from Naomi. That's fair. Needless to say, she seems almost as surprised as Naomi. Anyway, there's something I want to tell both of you. Whatever could it be? What is it? I've accepted my desire to live. Not only have I learned and felt a lot through divine selection, but I'm also carrying the feelings of others with me. I don't want any of that to go to waste. You finally found the resolution to do what you need to do then. Don't get the wrong idea. I'm not about to sacrifice you for that cause. Yeah, we got interrupted earlier. There's no meaning to my life without people like you, Naomi, Mao, and my gran, even Lef. Sonia said that if fate can change for the worse, then it can also change for the better. I'm done with being a goody two-shoes. I'm going to change fate so that it suits my needs and not the other way around. She's having a Hajime moment here. I'm going to choose the future. I have no idea how I'll accomplish that, but at the very least, I was able to save Naomi so far. That's why I'm going to find a way to make sure both of us last through this. I'm well aware that I have no leads whatsoever when it comes to how I'll accomplish this. Still, I want my intentions to be clear. This is the first step toward realizing that desire. Man, that guitarist is just going. Sorry, but I disagree. You realize how slim the odds are of being able to accomplish such a thing, don't you? I mean, we don't really know what is going to happen. Parca gave us a hard deadline, 12 weeks. What happens after 12 weeks? Do we all live? Do we all die? We're not really sure. Someone tell Maharu that this game has multiple endings. I figured you'd say that. Should such a method exist, then However, your plan requires us two to be the last remaining participants. I figured you'd say that too. That's why I'll make sure to find a way before it comes to that. I feel entirely out of place with this discussion. That's not true at all. I asked you to help me once the culture festival had ended, didn't I? This is my proposal. Let's work together, the three of us. Not against the other participants, but against our own fate. I'm finally able to say it. Perhaps I've wanted to say this ever since Divine Selection began. It wasn't possible before. I lacked the resolution required to do so. But things are different now. I've fully accepted my desire to live. Well then, assuming there is a way to pull this off, you can count me in. Likewise! I've been waiting for this! Thanks, you two. Both of them smile at me. And I smile back. I'll have to take my leave here, I'm afraid. Work calls. That said, Maharu makes her way out. Is that it? We're gonna wrap up? Oh. We'll finish with this. We're almost at the end of the video. I almost said stream again, and I didn't. Let's not keep things from one another, Maharu. You're not going to work. You're going to meet with Scale and them, aren't you? I follow after Maharu when she exits Lion House. I asked Naomi to stay inside before running off, though. I want to speak with Maharu alone. Yes, that's right. My priority is to eliminate Odette and Alan with their help, but I'm also going to get as much info as I can on them at the same time so I can eliminate them afterwards. The act of betraying others is inherently evil, but it's imperative. I certainly hope you're not going to chide me for it. I won't. But do you really think you'll be able to pull it off? I'm able to do anything for your sake. You know that's not what I mean. Maharu stares at me in response to my outburst. Sorry, I shouldn't have raised my voice. Please hear me out. I'm not against what you're planning. Quite the opposite, really. I don't want to let you do this all on your own anymore. I want you to let me shoulder your burden, much like what Naomi did for me. So it's about Naomi again, huh? I told you not to mention her name in my presence. Huh? I didn't mean for it to come across that way. Oh well. I appreciate your concern, but I'll leave it at that. As I said earlier, your plan hinges on us being the last remaining participants. You won't understand unless I say it loud and clear, so listen. You focus on finding out what to do once we reach that point. Leave the other participants to me. You've gotten a bit too used to throwing yourself into dangerous situations, especially this last time. Yeah, no kidding. The fire may not have hurt you in the end thanks to fate doing its thing, but don't forget that its internal damage from smoke inhalation and such could have been a possibility. I've said this plenty of times already, but you're getting far too involved with other participants. That's why I was glad to hear you say you would stand up to fate itself. Don't tell me you only agreed to my plan to keep me away from the other participants. Don't you really believe that we can beat fate at its own game? Who knows? Anyway, I need to hurry. I do actually have a shift today, albeit it's a short one. I believe what I said, that we can change fate together. And I believe in you. It just turns out that my love for you trumps that belief. Saying that, Maharu makes her way to the station. There was nothing I could say to her after that. I had no comeback. It's a fact that I lack information on both the other participants and how to ensure our mutual survival. All I'm doing right now is speaking of a scenario I want to see happen. That's why Maharu brushed me off. Just wishful thinking. I doubt she'll only fill me in on the bare minimum like she did previously, at least. Either way, I intend to do things differently as well. I'll find out how to change fate for us, no matter what. I suspect we're going to get extra mouthy with Parca next election. Is someone even going to get elected next time? I have a feeling Odette's going to kick Federico out. I'm still calling that as the next election, but we'll see. Maharu's already determined to make nothing but progress. She has been ever since Divine Selection began. The same has to apply to me now. I don't want her lying for my sake anymore. Do we want to do this? Let's finish up with this. Did things go well? They went how you were probably worried they would. My response leaves her a bit surprised. I'm aware of how smart Naomi is. There's no doubt she realized what we were arguing over. This may go a bit longer, but I wouldn't... let's end with this, not start with it. It's even more reason for me to find a way for both of us to survive. It's not like I don't have any leads. Take this book, for example. Yeah, let's start theory crafting here. I never paid much attention to it, thinking it's just a tool for divine selection, but it might be worth having a deeper look at its design and binding, that sort of stuff. What would you gain from doing so? Information regarding divine selection, or rather, the goddess behind it. Yes! What have I been saying? We're going after Parca. We've been so focused on the dream world and the events in the real world being altered that we simply accepted everything about it. We never once tried to go against the rules because we let ourselves be convinced that we shouldn't. In reality, though, we should have let ourselves question the very nature of divine selection. I guess we should research Parca too. You are speaking my language. I'm not too familiar with ancient myths and stuff, but there might be something about her. There we go. Yeah, okay, maybe we don't have anybody who's familiar enough with theology to take stabs at what Parca's about. But we've got the research machine sitting here. I mean, we can figure these things out. I should be able to help with that. I actually did some research myself based on her claim of being a goddess. I figured I might be able to find something useful. I walked away convinced that myths are just myths in the end, but we might find something that will come in handy now. Naomi whips out her notepad and flips to the first few pages. She must have written stuff down while researching. I mean, it can't all be myths, or else this wouldn't be happening. After reading through them a bit, she turns her attention back to me. Parca is a generic term used for a coat one wears in winter. There were three coats in total. Decuma, Nona, and Morta. Okay, so Parca was a generic word for a goddess, actually. In Roman mythology, was it? No, Greek mythology. There were 3 in total, so Decima, Nona, and Morta. I'm not sure if I'm saying those right, but I'd be willing to bet she's one of them, and Captain Effeminate Dude is probably one of the other ones. Each exists as an equivalent of the Morai from Greek mythology. Okay, no, never mind. It was Roman mythology. Apparently, they decide the individual fates of each person at their birth. That's close to what Parca said in the dream world. What's more, both the court and Clock of Fate are there. The dream world itself is filled with clock and gear motifs. The numbers given to each participant coincides with those on an analog clock, too. Time. Greek mythology's Kronos is the most well-known when it comes to deities related to that, I believe. Parca said that our 3 cards represented our past, present, and future. Does that mean fate is represented through time itself? That reminds me, the card book has gears on its design, doesn't it? A number of gears within a clock, yes? In that case, it's possible to make the connection from gears to clocks, from clocks to time, and finally time to fate, right? You even see expressions like the Wheel of Fate in books sometimes. Well, that only helps us understand the motif behind the dream world. Doesn't really feel like we've gotten near the core of the matter. Hang on. Don't you think it's a bit odd for the dream world to have a motif at all? How so? Did you think of something? No, not quite, but Parca claims to be a goddess, correct? Why would she design something to comply with motifs that regular humans would think of? She explained that the dream world was designed in order for us to be able to perceive it because we can't under normal circumstances. It's kind of like Q creating that court. If that's the case, then it only makes sense that it'd be full of stuff that we normally associate with fate and the like. We just made the connections there ourselves, in fact. Plus, one person's perception plays a vital role in the contents of one's own cards. That makes sense, but... Sorry, something just feels off, despite you making a good point. No need to apologize. Don't forget that feeling. Us participants didn't question any of this stuff. Naomi nods, but still looks somewhat apologetic. As she does. I can't quite understand what she must be feeling, in all honesty. Chances are part of me is still convinced there's no point in overthinking things because Parca is a goddess. And here I was telling myself I'd quit that sort of thinking not long ago. I didn't prove to be useful at all. Don't say that. It's not true. I should have figured something was up far sooner. Yet Naomi here is the one to go ahead and do the research before I even noticed. I guess we should wrap things up for today. Want to come with me to the library after school then? The library? I'd love to. It's my favorite place. Would you like to go to the library later? When am I ever not at the library? Thanks. We'll start with the card book first. If Parca is watching us, which we kind of implied during the last election that she she mischievously didn't tell us the details, but there was the clear implication that she watches Goddess YouTube up there to keep tabs on us. Is she watching this? Is she going to have some smarmy comments for us when we come back next Sunday? It's already dark out, so I walk Naomi to the station. She said she'd be fine, but Odette knows all about Lionhouse, which means Alan probably knows too. We're going to have a whole coffee thing in here one of these days. All the living participants are just going to pile in here as we try to figure out how to stick it to Parca. I can't see them focusing their efforts on me at this point, but even so, I'd rather not let Naomi walk around at night on her own. Yeah, poor girl's been through enough. And that'll pretty much take us to just past the hour mark, and we will absolutely start. Maharu just has no patience for anybody except Reiko. Alright, but yeah, we will see how this meeting goes, what Scale's been up to, what Federico's been up to, possibly what Odette's been up to. What has Team 9 been actually accomplishing while we've been off doing our own thing? I suspect not much, but we are going to keep hitting the ground running here. The participants are not just going to take a break now that they've gotten rid of number 4. Everyone's on high alert. Who's next? What's going to change? What's going to happen? Who are we targeting? Shall we target the goddess herself? We'll find out next time. Make sure you do all the usual. Smash that like button, subscribe, it helps a lot. Make sure you're following on Twitter. Make sure you're engaging. Tell me how you're liking the series so far. We just got over a major arc here. What do you guys think? What do you think of what the characters think? Who are you agreeing with and disagreeing with? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We are getting close to the end game here. Take care. I'll see you next time.